From Tally to Cali,
It's time
to wake up.
Wake up! Wake up!
Warchant.com is your ultimate Seminole sports source.
And this is Wake Up Warchant, presented by Corner Pocket Bar and Grill.
One ball, corner pocket.
Now here's Warchant.com's Aslan
And Corey Clark.
Wake up! What is up, everybody? It is Wake Up Warchant. It is presented by Corner Pocket Bar and Grill, Tallahassee, Florida. Hit that thumbs up button if you're listening to us on YouTube, maybe a 5-star rating and review. And don't forget, download the Warchant app, Apple Store as well as the Play Store on your Android device. Coming up on today's show, observations, day 2, plus a very full, robust Renegade Express mailbag, Corey Clark, as we posted it late, but we got lots of folks who want to know what's going on out there. But what's going on over at the Corner Pocket Bar and Grill on a Friday night, Corey?
Just fun and frivolity. Throw a few back, throw some darts, play some pool, watch all those, the Vegas wall of TVs, all the baseball you could watch right now. And then obviously you're going to want to go there once football season starts. Sundays, they got the Direct TV package, obviously, so you can watch all your favorite NFL teams. It's a really cool place to be anytime, but Sundays for NFL is pretty neat.
And don't forget, they have daily lunch specials, 11 a.m. to 3 p.m., only $8.99. Fridays, chicken strip basket. Get you some. Corner Pocket Bar and Grill, cptallybar.com is the website. Corey, how's your mother doing with the big 8-0? Is she just looking ever youthful and full of vigor as ever?
She is, yeah. It was a fun day. My sister and her husband came over. Brady was there. Shanna was there with her husband Ryan. Just a small gathering. We just had hot dogs and bratwursts on the grill. But
Simple
yeah, it was
woman,
good.
Simple woman.
Yeah, man. It didn't need to be anything fancy. She wasn't looking for that, and we certainly didn't want to give it to her, so it worked out perfectly. But yeah, I got her. Stephanie and I got her a pretty expensive bouquet of flowers, but it was she was very appreciative. Brady got her some Butterfinger bars because that's her favorite candy bar. And, yeah, we just sat around and yapped for 4 or 5 hours.
Nice. Meanwhile, we sat around and watched for 2.5, 3 hours. Irish O'Fell, Jeff Cameron, Austin Cox, and myself at football practice on Thursday. They'll be back at it Friday afternoon, off Saturday, and then they'll be doing morning resumption starting on Sunday. You going to be here for Sunday's practice, Corey?
Yes, I will be there for Sunday. Absolutely, buddy.
Nice,
Can't wait.
Nice. All right, so, I'm never expecting the coach to say anything negative. I don't think they're lying or, being deceitful or anything like that. But I remember watching the practice, and it was just another day of the defense just kind of shining, the offense not doing a lot when it comes to 7-on-7, 11-on-11. I don't know if they did one-on-ones. I was doing some video editing, but when I was down there, they were still doing special teams, so I don't recall them doing one-on-ones, but it was just like, yeah, man, they're not hitting deep shots. I know it's day 2. I'm not panicking by any stretch, everybody. I'm just saying it just looks somewhat similar to what I've seen in the last 2 years. But afterwards, Mike Norvell, who wasn't scheduled to speak on Thursday, was kind enough to stop, and he said he'd make a statement, and then he'd also take one question. Very happy with the way everything's looking, especially on offense, the install, and then Tony Tokars, who was a scheduled speaker for the day. Just really proud about the poise. We're seeing Jordan Travis play quarterback. He knows where he's got to go. He's not looking to tuck and run quickly. Lots of nice things to say about the offense, but I just didn't see it. And I'm not panicking, everybody. But again, just we look somewhat similar to what we've seen here in years past. So it'd be nice to see these things sort of get snapped out of it. So I'll go right to it, Corey. I'll just get to the 7-on-7s here. There's only really 2 standout plays out of, I don't know, man, like close to 30. One of them was your boy, Johnny Wilson, absolute dime from Tate Rodemaker, back shoulder throw, and fantastic coverage. Really, really good coverage by Renardo Green, but just better throw, better catch. Actually, I take it back. He was not in coverage on that one, but it was Johnny Wilson on the catch. Norvell just going absolutely crazy after the catch. Nice catch, Johnny. Nice catch. Norvell's got 3 different voices. He's got this weird sort of fun-loving, like, hello, everybody. Then he's got, Coach Norvell at the podium voice, and then he's got football coach Norvell in practice, and he really gets some gruff in there, and he was really happy with the way that Johnny looked on through. It was beautiful. It was remarkable. It really was. And then Jordan was like, all right, nice throw, Tate. I will see you. I will match you. Does another, and it is a back shoulder throw to Malik McClain, who caught that over Renardo Green. So that's where Renardo comes into play here. But otherwise, Renardo had a pretty good day out there. But that was it, man. That was it for 7-on-7. And I just wonder, like when we do talk about the defense having their way, I mean, I think it's really 7-on-7 kind of fleshes it out, because if there's nothing there, which, there was some stuff there, though. So I don't know. Maybe I'm talking out both sides of my mouth here, Corey. I just feel like if we're going to talk about the defense leading the way, that means that there's just nothing there on 7-on-7. You eat the ball, and there's nothing open. But there was just underneath stuff all day, so maybe that's where the defense is showing its teeth. Everything was short. There was nothing beyond 10 yards, air yards thrown, besides those 2 throws. And I know you weren't there to see it, but that's where I'm coming from in my sort of like, that's it. Let's go deep on some of this stuff. But the thing is, I just see Tate seems a little bit more willing to go downfield on some stuff, and Jordan doesn't. But then Tony Tokar said, hey, man, it's day 2. A lot of this, what we're doing right now, has to deal with install. So I guess maybe that's what we're seeing as well. But I don't know. I get it. Defense is ahead this time of the year. Just would like to see a little bit more from my offense, Corey, if that's okay.
Yeah, I mean, but look, again, it's day 2 and they're in shorts, right?
Correct.
You can take so much. I read Ira's wrap-up, and he's basically saying the exact opposite of you. So, folks, do the weight amongst yourselves and see. It's probably a little bit from column A or column B, but he thought the receivers had a much better day. Specifically, I think in one-on-ones. Because remember, one-on-ones on the first day, they didn't do much there at all. No. But, Deuce Spann had a 50-yard catch apparently in one-on-ones. Somebody else Johnny Wilson had a big catch. Micah Pittman had 2 drops where he was wide open and dropped them, which isn't great, including, I think, 1 in 7-on-7s. The receivers are getting open, which is a positive. But, yeah, I mean, it's just hard to dissect, okay, because they didn't do well in 11-on-11, this offense still isn't any good. We'll see, right? Like, they're in shorts. Right. And they know they're not running. You know what I mean? Like, Florida State, first and foremost, is going to be a running football team. And in all these scenarios.
Is true, which I'm not a fan of, but that is very true. That is a very good point, Corey. They really are going to be dedicated to the run.
Yeah, so in 7-on-7 and 11-on-11, I mean, they're handing the ball off in 11-on-11, and there's some runs here and there.
So much handing the ball off in 11-on-11.
But that's not going to lend itself to be, wow, this offense is rolling. But that's what they do. And then in 7-on-7, that you're taking a big part of the chunk of that offense away. I mean, obviously the defense knows you're throwing the ball. You're not going to run in 7-on-7. So yeah, I just think it's hard to know. Next week, really 2 weeks from now, is when we'll know, okay, this thing is starting to look better. It's starting to improve. This quarterback or these quarterbacks are starting to get on the same page with the wide receivers. But again, I think it's a really big deal. It's just one day. Johnny Wilson making tough contested catches. I think the one you were talking about was over Azarie Thomas.
Yeah, we don't have to mention that. We don't have to mention that, though.
That's fine. He had really good coverage, right?
Yeah.
And he's a good player. Johnny Wilson out jumping him, out working, and out competing, leaping for the ball against that guy is a good sign.
And Azarie got him the next time around when they went back out there the next series. Those guys running Azarie, no. So he PBU'd it. But that's real. Like, I'm not worried about Micah Pittman, man. I think he'll be fine. I do want to make sure that Johnny Wilson, the Johnny Wilson is a big time player for this team, and him having that awful drop that he had in 11-on-11s, for him to come back and then make 2 really tough contested catches, that's a good sign. Doesn't mean that much, but it's better than him continuing to drop passes. Yeah, Micah beat Noles deep in coverage on 7-on-7. He dropped the pass. That kind of was a little bit discouraging. But again, just one rep on one day, the second day. Now 11-on-11 here, man. I'm gonna go through everything, and I'll go through it fast because you know how I talk, everybody. I keep things quick. I'm from the Jimbo Fisher School of Communications. First series, Jordan Travis, they run the ball, nothing. Derek McClendon with the pressure, nothing happening in the pass game. They hand the ball off to Lawrence Toafili. Then it's Tate Rodemaker.
Also understand, I do want people to understand, it's not like these are drives. So you might think, well, why would they run it on 3rd and 10? It might have been just first down plays. Like, they might have just called that last play first down too. They're not trying to extend a drive by, it's 3rd and 10, we got to pick up 12 yards.
Everyone gets 3 plays. Everyone gets 3 plays. Every quarterback gets 3 plays.
And I think they're all treated like first down plays. Okay. So that's why you're running. You hear those 2, and you're like, well, why would they hand it off again on 3rd and 11 or whatever? It's because it's not really 3rd and 11. It's just one more play.
Rodemaker, handoff, C.J. Campbell, screen pass to Deuce Spann. A.J. Duffy, nothing, rushes the ball, incomplete. Now we're back to Jordan Travis. Rolls out, hits Wyatt Rector for a short gain, RPO to Pokey, which was really nice. That was probably the highlight of 11 on 11. And then a short completion to Pokey after that. Then we go back to A.J. Duffy, hand the balls off to Toafili. Interception thrown into double coverage, which just was not a good idea, but shout out to Jarquez McClellan for coming down with it.
There you go.
And then Patrick Payton with some pass rush, nothing doing. Tate Rodemaker hands the ball off to C.J. Campbell, hands the ball off to, who's 29, the kid from
Rodney
Georgia.
Hill.
Rodney Hill, thank
Rodney
you.
Hill.
Good run on that one. And then throwing situation, nothing happened. He just eats it. Back to Jordan Travis, and we got 3 more of these, everybody. Hands the ball off to Lawrence Toafili. Drop pass by Ja'Kai Douglas. It was an absolute rocket up. I mean, just crossing route, absolute freaking laser beam. Goes off his wrist, drops it. Short pass completion after that. Now we're back again to Tate Rodemaker. Pass breakup, line of scrimmage, Pat Payton. So he had 2 good little bursts there.
Yeah.
RPO to Kentron Portier, which might have been a touchdown. He was breaking free, but again, guys aren't taking full angles and attacking with complete ferocity out there. But that was probably the second best play of 11 on 11. Rushing the ball, the Lawrence O'Philly, not a big gain. Then we go Duffy, 96 with a passer. I think that's Anderson, if I'm not mistaken, or Lions. I don't know, 96 and 95. I get confused. Rodney Hill rushes the ball 2 more times. Not horrible by any stretch. Wasn't saying it was horrible, but again, just 2 good passing completions within, I don't know, what was that, probably like 24 plays or so I rattled through. So again, read if you want to feel better about everything, read Ira. I'm sure he'll give you the
yeah, but also it's not as if they were an abomination either, from what it sounds like.
But again, man, they just look similar to what they've looked like. And again, it's 2 days. They got plenty of time to get better, but I'm just trying to, I know we're all getting a little bit excited. It's, preseason camp is here. We're a little bit ahead of our skis on some of these things. So let's just, I'm not telling everybody not to have fun. I'm not telling you that we're not going to a bowl game. I'm not saying anything like that, but just, I think we need to be a little bit measured here in these first few days. When we see the pads come on, then I think we can start extrapolating, maybe start making some more bolder proclamations of things getting better. So that's what I saw. So that's what happens when Corey's not there. All you're going to get is me on the show talking about things. Mm-hmm. And if there's nobody standing in my way being negative, we're going to negative town, everybody. Hop on.
New Zaxby's Fried Chicken Sensible Salads are under 600 calories. Wait, 600 calories? That can't be right.
It's correct.
600 calories. Seriously. But it comes with fried chicken and 1 packet of light vinaigrette dressing. No, there's no way. I'm going to go find out for myself.
Can you please just finish the commercial first?
Fine. Try new Sensible Salads that are apparently under 600 calories. Order ahead on the Zaxby's app. Okay, I'm going to go order one now.
And don't forget to listen in for the Zaxby's indescribably good Player of the Week every Monday on Wake Up Warchant.
All right, let's get to the Renegade Express. Posted this late in the day. Figured we'd probably get 3 or 4 just to kind of fill the show, but we have 13, Corey, so let's go. It's Mark down in Naples. Wake up! The coverage of the first practice was awesome. You guys were all over it. The theme has been the defense is the head of the offense. I feel like you guys have been observing that in camp even when our defense was a joke. Can it change already? Can receivers start catching the ball and making plays? I understand our DBs have really stepped up. Well, it's time for receivers to step up so we don't have to rely heavily on a running game that will likely get shut down by the likes of LSU and Clemson. Mark, come on. You're the positive guy. What are you talking about? I'm not going to get shut down by anybody. Am I overreacting here? Maybe I'm just irritated because the kids are still on summer break and I can't wait for them to get back to school. Yes, you're overreacting. And I just, me after 10 minutes of saying that the offense doesn't look good.
Right. It's 2 days now, but again, it sounds like the receivers, even if they weren't incredible, were better than they were on the first day, which is good. It's what you want. They bounced back. They answered. At least a few of them did. So we'll see. Again, I think it's going to be a better passing game. I don't know how much better, but it will be better. But you are correct. You are not going to run for 400 yards against LSU or Clemson. If you want to win those games, you've got to be balanced. You've got to at least threaten them through the air, and hopefully that does happen.
Corey, happy 80th to your mom. Good luck to Brady for going into high school. I experienced that milestone last year. My advice, keep him busy. Club activities, sports every day after school. I wish I would have forced that issue more last year, but it's certainly going to be the rule going into my child's sophomore year. Enjoy the ride. Let's beat the tar out of the Dukes. Let's send LSU back to Baton Rouge, wishing they had never scheduled us. Looking forward to seeing you guys in New Orleans. Absolutely, Mark.
Going to be a good time. Going to be a good time.
Also, I should maybe admit that maybe some of my perspective was a bit polluted by a YouTube post, which I have no problem with it. But I read this, I'm like, yeah, maybe he's got something. Maybe he's got on to something here. It was Noles fan 1231. The excuses and justification for Jordan Travis is glaring. I'm sure the wide receivers never have made a good catch on a poorly thrown ball. There's two sides to the coin, guys. You can't just bag on the receivers all the time. Which I was like, all right. So I think I was maybe a little hyper-critical of Jordan today. But again, just, let's take some deep shots confidently, see it there the first time, let it rip. Didn't see that. But again, it was Thursday. We'll be back out there Friday, Sunday, following that. So we'll see how it goes. I think they'll be in pads on Sunday when Corey's back here, so that'll be great. Let's go to Tickety. It's not a place, it's a person on the warchant.com tribal council. He's been around since 2007. He's posted 14,505 times. Wake up, fellas. Just got done drinking a cup of DeLuna Voodoo. It sparked a few thoughts. My man. Seems highly unlikely at this point that unlimited transfers will be part of college football in the near future. It seems highly likely that it will be. Yeah, you're right. Do you think this will make high school recruiting less important, especially at skill positions? For example, are we better off getting Micah Pittman, Winston Wright, talented guys with some growth, development, and experience under their belt, or a Devon Mortimer who likely needs a couple of seasons of development and might jump ship as soon as he sees some success, or might leave because he does not see the field as a freshman? Wanted to point out that it looks like it might be a strategy of this staff to concentrate on building and developing the trenches through high school and realizing there will be plenty of talent at the skill positions in the transfer market. Maybe we should go hard at a couple of top guys at each skill spot. If you miss, no worries. The portal can supply what we need. It seems a lot less efficient to put years of recruiting resources and work into guys that can leave so easily.
Yeah, I mean that's where we are with the sport. It's a good question. It's a fair question. I would think with skill guys, the special ones you're going to have to go pluck from the tree. You know what I mean? Like you're not going to go if another Amari Cooper comes along, he's not transferring from Alabama to Florida State. So if you want to get him, you've got to get him then. You've got to get him when he's 16, 17 years old. But you can get decent to good all over the country. I mean, there are literally a dime a dozen very good wide receivers that can improve your team. But the special dudes, the Kelvins, the Julio Joneses, just name them. You guys know. You know who receivers are. Those guys I don't know are going to be transferring a ton, right? So, but I do think, yeah, man, I think when it comes to, you're not so heartbroken about losing a recruiting battle necessarily. Like, oh, man, we didn't get – who was the other kid that went to Jackson State?
Kevin Coleman.
Yeah, you're not like heartbroken, like, man, we didn't get Kevin Coleman. That's a bummer because you might be able to get somebody his equal next year that will be more ready to play next year, or maybe even then. Like, you know what I mean? Like, okay, Kevin Coleman chooses Jackson State in February. All right, well, maybe go get a guy from Marshall who had 1,300 yards receiving and 19 touchdowns. Not 19, that's probably too much. And 9 touchdowns. That's a proven commodity. And that's, who's ready to come in and play right away, like a Winston Wright. That maybe Kevin Coleman isn't ready to play right away as a true freshman. So maybe it changes the way. I mean, Norvell keeps saying they're going to recruit, like they want to build their team through recruiting, like high school kids. But yeah, I think with skill guys, you might.
Well, I would say, isn't it the opposite though? Maybe like you have to get those guys, like those elite guys. Very few guys were 3-star receivers that turn into being 1,200-yard, receivers for you. I think maybe Oklahoma had one. If maybe guys like Lincoln Riley or Gus Malzahn that have those, video game offenses can figure things out. But I mean, we're seeing with Florida State right now. I mean, say Caden Lyles and Dimitri Emanuel end up holding off their competitors. You're going to have like Bless Harris, Caden Lyles, Dylan Gibbons, Dimitri Emmanuel starting on your offensive line. 4/5 of your offensive line are going to be transfers from, guys
over the last couple years.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
no, I mean, I guess I would say that's a tough example for me because of where Florida State was at that position. Like, I think that's an extreme example.
I know, but those guys, you can probably find a 3-star guy that was under-recruited that ends up going to Purdue. And then, a kid that was
I'm not saying you're not gonna go get offensive linemen out of the portal. Of course you are. I'm saying that you want to get. I still think you want to build from within when it comes to that position. But you can sprinkle in a guy here or there. Like Notre Dame did last year with what's his name, the kid that Florida State wanted from Marshall.
Kane Madden.
Something?
Kane
Madden. Like that's the kind of if Norvell gets this thing to the place where he wants it, I think that's more likely than just every year bringing in 4 new guys.
Right.
That's
more
that's
than
all.
4
But
new guys. I mean, we've been double digits here, so I mean.
I mean 4 new guys on the offensive line.
Oh, okay, I got you.
Maybe just bring one that's a surefire starter. That's an all-American candidate or an all-ACC candidate. I see that happening. I don't know that he's going to keep recycling 4 or 5 transfers up front all the time. It was such a dire position of need. It was such a dire need that it was an extenuating circumstance. I think if he gets this thing where he wants it, if he gets it where he wants it, what do you think? It'll be 6, 7 transfers every year, maybe?
I would think less than that. But, yeah, I mean, I think 3 or 4, really. I mean, because if he gets it to where he wants it to be, we are a top 5, top 10 program, and I don't think a lot of those top 5, top 10 programs are adding more than 4 or 5 guys.
Yeah, probably not. You're right.
So, is there a real-world equivalent, Corey, to the transfer portal in terms of how much of an importance it is in your job to evaluate guys talent-wise as a head football coach? I mean, you're being paid millions of dollars to coach and evaluate game plan, and then you can you can miss bad, but you can go to the portal and make good really fast. I'm trying to think, if you're a surgeon and you cut the wrong leg, you cut the wrong leg. Things are wrong. I don't know. Maybe as a writer, you miss the interview. I guess you can just go on YouTube and find the press conference and start writing off of it. I don't know. I just feel like football coaches, man, they're getting paid more and their jobs are getting easier. I know the stress level's a little bit higher, a lot higher, but it's incredible that this part of your job, your role and responsibility to evaluate guys, it's really not that big of a deal right now. Because
it's twofold, right? I think evaluating is still a big deal. I think the recruiting aspect of it is changing completely before our eyes. Like, again, we can talk about family, and I'm not diminishing it. It does matter. But if one school's offering you 3 times as much as Florida State, it doesn't matter how much you like Norvell or believe in them. It's natural that you would go to the other school. And on the same token, it doesn't. If Florida State's offering twice as much as somebody else, you can say you're not going to come out loud and say, "Oh yeah, I gave there because of the money. I gave there because of the NIL deal. I went there because of the NIL deal." But that's the truth. So I don't know that building relationships is as important maybe as it was 5, 6, 10, 20, 50 years ago. Because money talks more than text messaging and letters. And, it just does. And also, on top of that, your point being, if you have a bunch of kids that don't work out, you can go kind of, salve the wound really quickly by going and getting 9 or 10 kids in the portal that can play for you immediately. But you can't, I wonder, I don't think you're ever going to be able to be a playoff team. It's certainly not a consistent top 5, top 6 team where you're living so much in the portal. I don't think that's how you build consistency necessarily. In fact, I know it isn't. You've got to recruit and develop from within. But man, it sure is a nice fallback to have. But again, what does recruiting even mean now? Is it just NIL deals? How much is what's the most important part of it? Is it relationship with the mom, or is it the relationship with the position coach? Is it the love you feel, or is it the stack of hundreds you would get if you have a deal? I don't know.
We know when they do. We'll go on with the next question here. When they do all those anonymous, like I think it was Athlon or one of those preseason magazines would always do like an anonymous quote from a opposing coach in the conference to talk about a particular team. I want like every division, every FBS, I want every Power 5 head coach to confidentially admit how much they lost a recruit by. Like, was it $5,000 enough to swing the relationship, or is it $25,000 that swings the relationship? I really am curious about that, but we'll probably never find that out, but hopefully someday. JT Knowles 2K2, hey, Aslan and Corey, wake up. I decided to do a sequel to my first ever Renegade Express question, which was, would you rather beat Florida or Clemson? I hope the sequel to that question is as good as Top Gun Maverick. Here we go.
Okay, all right, let's hear it. I doubt it, but let's hear it.
JT Knowles 2K2. I predict Florida State goes 8-4. So in this scenario, I can guarantee 2 wins. Gentlemen, would you rather beat Miami and Clemson or NC State and Florida? Oh man.
The first one.
Yeah, Miami and Clemson.
Yeah.
I'm honestly torn between both options. What do you guys think? Yeah, NC State just doesn't have the same cachet as Clemson.
They haven't beat Clemson in 8 years.
Yeah. Jeez. When you put it that way.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, Miami and Clemson, and they're both conference games. You win both those games. I mean, Can we say you beat Miami and Clemson, you're going to Charlotte? I mean, you'd really have to find a way to fudge it up to not make it to Charlotte for the,
Well, I mean, NC State could go 7-1 in conference and
you lose to them,
and you lose to them, so that could happen. But yeah, you would. If you beat Miami and Clemson and finish with 8 wins, I feel like people will be very happy in Tallahassee.
Oh, absolutely. Thank you for answering my questions. Support the sponsors and players with merchandise or YouTube accounts, along with the Warchant staff. We are Omar Ellison days away from kickoff. Let's go.
Oh, 30. All right, good. Omar Ellison from Griffin, Georgia. Serendipitous here. That's my mom's hometown. That's where she grew up. That's where Omar Ellison's from.
It's all about sharing today, everybody.
Yep,
it's all about
right.
sharing. Let's go. Next question. Armchair Osceola. Okay. Wake up, gentlemen. This is not a new poster, but rather NYC_Nole_2 with a rebooted new account for long-term platform familiarity. Truth is, I froze when I created my first account, and that handle just isn't going to work moving forward. What was wrong with it? He's changed his avatar, Corey. It looks like it's Charlie. I'm guessing 93 Miami game. Or maybe was Waken home in 93? Do you remember? I don't know if it's black and gold numbers on white
Wake
jersey.
was home in 93, but that's the game that Charlie got hurt. Okay. I don't know. I can't see it, so I don't know. I don't know, buddy. I mean, I guess I could. I could log on right now and look at it.
It looks green and orange more so than black and gold.
Okay. All right.
All right, we'll go with that. All right, we have all made the best of the sports list summer. Your boy did some hiking in the Italian Alps and visited south of France. All right, man.
Okay.
Let's go.
That's big. Yeah.
Aslan, I highly recommend you include the latter as a 2023 vacation destination. Corey would enjoy it as well, but for different reasons.
What was the latter? Which part
South
was
of France. South of France.
Is that where they have the nude beaches? Is that what he's saying? Is that what he's getting at?
I guess. I don't know.
Okay.
I don't know.
All right.
That's too high cotton for me, man. I got to go to a developing country. I got to go somewhere that the dollar just, reigns supreme to enjoy my vacations. I'm too cheap.
Sure.
All right, here's my question. We have all discussed and dissected every position on the FSU football team and know all the relevant points of contention. But big picture, what are you two gentlemen excited to watch come September 4th? That's the LSU game, I assume. I'm genuinely looking forward to this year. Is the prevailing sentiment among the Warchant staff as well, or are we still putting lipstick on a pig and telling ourselves things will get better? As always, drink the Luna, register for Warchant, click the like button, and go Noles. I am more curious than I'm not excited, but like I was excited for 2014. I'm curious for this season. More so than anything else. If I had to use like an adjective or a verb, I don't know what curious is. I'm not the grammarian in this relationship here. They're going to be better though. I mean, I would be amazed if they somehow regressed, or even say if they're 5-7 again. I would be shocked. I'd be shocked if they were 5-7. So, yeah, man, I'm curious to see how it all goes out. Corey, what about you? What's the prevailing sentiment? genuinely looking forward to it, or are you part of this lipstick on a pig, cabal?
No, I am looking forward to it. I wonder. I'll be looking for a million things in that game and wanting to see a million different things in that game. Mainly, I think offense has to do some stuff. It has to produce points against talented defenses because there is enough talent on that offense to put up. I don't know, man, 3-4 touchdowns. I'm not asking for 9. I'm not asking for Idaho in 2013, but you could put up 3 or 4 touchdowns. That can happen. That happens a lot to LSU. I've watched it many times. But man, I don't know. I want to see the defense. I want to see if it's solid. I don't expect it to be dominant, but I think it can kind of exert its will over certain teams. That quarterback has not been there forever, right? It's the kid from Arizona State, isn't that right?
Maybe, or it could be I think Doug Nussmeier's kid, or maybe the dude from Mississippi who's been hurt his whole career, Miles Brennan might finally figure it out.
Okay.
Yeah,
right. Well, so there's a quarterback battle there.
There is, man, yeah.
So you just feel like you should maybe have the edge at quarterback. And if you have the edge at quarterback and your defense is pretty good, that should lead to a win. So I'd like to see that. Can I say that? Can I go ahead and say I'd just like to see a win?
Yeah. Absolutely. And I guess that's a cool thing. We don't have to wait long. I mean, we didn't – golly. I mean, last year, week 1, Notre Dame gave us a whole – I think threw us for a curve because we're like, all right, man, look at how great they're playing. And we didn't know. We're like, oh, we didn't see Owen. Was it 0-4? Was it 0-4 or 1-4? 0-3? I don't even remember. That's how much I blocked it out of my mind, everybody.
Yeah, it was 0-4.
0-4.
Started out 0-4, buddy.
I just feel like LSU, like if they can't beat LSU, we've got problems. Like I'm not saying that they're this walking, dead man walking staff or anything, but if they can't beat LSU, I think we got some problems. We will have some real problems that probably won't be able to be overcome with at least some of this personnel, maybe some of the coaching staff. I was thinking about this the other day, Corey, about the Clemson game. If whatever they had last year, versus Clemson. This season, theoretically, they should have a better play caller with Mike, over Kenny.
Okay.
And they've got a better offensive line.
Yeah.
Wouldn't that be enough to maybe get a first down or two in the fourth quarter to salt that game away and win it ultimately as opposed to losing it? And then, you got him at home this year too. So, all those things factored in, makes me feel good about the Clemson game. I know we're talking about LSU, but I thought about that. Warpath, no. Wake up, fellas. So glad the offseason is over and camp has started with games right around the corner. I have a question I've been meaning to ask for a while, but I always forget. Since often there are player interviews after practice or games, does the team give the players media training on how to handle interviews, social media, etc., etc.? Also, who do you think will be the camp MVP?
I don't know about the second one, or really the first one. I have to assume it's Mike Norvell. I have to assume there's some training there, and they haven't asked us to help them,
right?
But I think the SIDs do a good job of
sports information directors.
Sports information directors will do a good job of maybe making the kids feel like at ease, because if you've seen those pictures of us after practice, it's daunting. I mean, imagine being 19 years old. And standing in front of, some middle-aged dudes, but there's I don't know, Aslan, what is there, 15, 17 of us? Everybody's holding a camera.
Really, really, really thinned out on Thursday. It was
did it?
Yeah. But
okay.
Yeah, I mean, it could be, around a dozen or so of us.
Yeah, and they're right. Everybody's holding up either a phone or a camera or a mic, and you really have to kind of think about what you're saying. You have to actually take time, not like this show where whatever hits my brain comes out. You actually have to really think and filter some stuff. And that, you can get training for that. And I'm sure they definitely get, I don't think it's training as in hey, don't forget Tuesdays and Thursdays, it's media training. Yeah. But I do think they've had people come in and talk to them or explain to them, probably more than anything, social media.
I don't know about that, man. Sometimes they still tweet some stuff or put some stuff on Instagram. Before they talk to us, if they're a younger kid, they will actually kind of get pulled aside before they're released to us, and you can see them kind of getting coached up by the sports information guys, probably like, hey, if they ask you this, say this. They might ask you that, and so we do see some of that, which is fine. Nothing wrong with that, but yeah. I'm sure they're also told about social media. I'm sure there's like a preseason meeting. I mean, they've had, like, Ryan Leaf was there. I mean, they have these guest speakers coming. I'm sure they've had some sort of media image consultant come in there and talk to them about branding and, hey, what you say on the internet or what you say on camera is going to follow you, so be careful. So I'm sure they're kind of, what's the word I'm trying to find? Whatever. They're told to look out for the booby traps out there, if you will. So,
and it's also, I think, for them though.
The landmines. That was what I was landmines.
Right.
Dang it.
Yeah, and you don't want to. You have to think about what you're saying. I remember who was it? It was Tatum Bethune that said a cuss word on Monday. Not a bad one. But I think he basically said DJ Lundy worked his
blank off.
butt off.
Okay.
He worked his butt off, but he used the other word. And then he apologized to Krista, who's one of the sports information directors. He's like, I apologize. I'm sorry for my language. And he even said that to us, like, excuse my language, and he said that. Now, Tatum Bethune has been doing this for a while. But it's not necessarily antagonistic. It isn't at all. So, like, if a guy says, there have been times where you're interviewing a kid, and again, you have to, there's context, and you have to put yourself in their shoes, and you ask a question, he starts to answer it, runs out of, loses his train of thought or says something he didn't mean to say, and it's like, hey, can you ask me that again?
Right.
And that's happened before, and we will be like, okay, yeah, here you go again, da-da-da-da-da, and then I'll answer the question. There's no harm in that. Like, we're not trying to make, it's not like, oh, wouldn't that be funny to put up on YouTube this kid saying, like, will you ask me that question again? You're not trying to embarrass anyone. You're literally trying to get answers because fans want to hear from the players. So you try to make it as comfortable as possible for that to happen. Now, that doesn't mean if you give them 5 outs or 10 outs or say, oh, you keep trying, but or oh, that was off the record, 2 days afterwards, stuff like that. But we're all in the we're trying to get the news to you guys, and we're trying to get their quote, what they think, their actual thoughts to you. And sometimes a kid can be a little hesitant when he first starts doing it. Some of them never get comfortable. But for the most part, the Florida State guys are all pretty good. There aren't many that aren't, that we've talked to anyway, and we talked to almost all of them. But you just want it to be a comfortable enough conversation, as comfortable as it can be when there's all those microphones pointed at you and all those cameras pointed at you, and there is a chance you could say something that could effectively ruin your career. Like, that hasn't happened. Nothing like that has even come close to happening anytime recently or at all, really. But you know what I mean? Like, there's, you say you say something so dumb it could be national news. You know what I mean? So that could be, and I don't mean dumb as in unintelligent. I mean, like, controversial. So I think for the most part we work. They help us. We try to be patient with them, and we're not talking about highly politicized topics either. It's football. So, but don't you think, Aslan, they do a pretty good job of being kind of, I mean, some of them are nervous, especially the first year guys, but as they keep doing it, I feel like they get more and more comfortable. And some of them, you can tell, are born to do it. Like Dylan Gibbons, he's born to give interviews.
So is Robert Scott. Yeah, wow, we really went deep into that one. Camp MVP, like, what would you have to do? I mean, a quarterback would have to really show off, I think, to be. I don't. If it's not going to be Jordan Travis on the offense, a receiver
though, right? Maybe a receiver that just starts making a bunch of huge plays.
Yeah, because even if one of these transfer offensive linemen, whether it's Bless Harris or Kane Lyles or Dimitri Emanuel, if they end up winning one of their jobs, I mean, that's going to bolster the whole offensive line and maybe change the complexion of what they can do. But that wouldn't probably be enough to catch our eye to call them an MVP. So yeah, it would have to be a receiver or a quarterback, because. Yeah, I think running, they still thud up when they run. Like, they'll never bring guys to the ground, so it's kind of always hard to really get a figure and a feel for running backs in the running game. And then defensively, I don't know, maybe if they release Verse, release the Hounds, release the Kraken. Otherwise, maybe Omarion Cooper keeps doing well. Jarian Jones, I thought, had another good day, Corey. Man, he's a bully off the line. Like, if you beat him off the line, you're probably going to catch a touchdown. But you got to beat him off the line, though. which is not an easy thing to do.
Well, if you beat him off the line, old Akeem Dent's coming from over the top anyway.
That's right.
You got to beat somebody else too, son. It's not going to just be one-on-one. You got the back end to deal with. But that's good news, right? Like, I forgot about him. He intercepted a pass in the North Carolina game.
He had a really good game against North Carolina. I asked him a question about, like, do you have confidence after the game? I was like, man, I never listen to anybody. He's like, I'm confident who I am. He was totally dismissed that sort of notion.
Right, but he has had a few moments for this team, and he has played a good amount of snaps. And again, I don't know if he's going to be the starter, but it's nice to have. It's a nice option to have. It's a lot of experience to have. So, that's another guy I guess we can't completely forget.
Yeah. Eskimo Randy, wake up. Do you think the uncertainty with conference realignment and FSU's long-term future would make it more or less likely the administration would move on from Mike Norvell if the season were to go south and they would have to make a decision?
Say the first part again.
Do we think with the uncertainty with conference realignment and FSU's long-term future, would that make it more or less likely the administration would move on from Norvell if the season goes south?
So I think we feel like, and I'm going to get back to the answer, we feel like the playoff is going to expand to 12 in 2026, right?
Yes, when the contract comes up in 25, yeah.
And that seems like all ships are heading in that direction.
Well, by that time, the ACC and the Big Ten and Pac-12 will have to kiss the ring and figure something out. But right now, I think we're trying to hopefully we're trying to fight it and be.
No, I think he even said I thought he said in Charlotte that he's more in favor of that now than he was.
Oh, that's not good. We got to have some leverage. Come on, Jim.
But no, I think. But my point being, I think maybe when we're looking for these expansion of the conferences, I think that it would probably align with that, like the expansion of the playoffs would mean the expansion. That's when a brand new TV package comes up. That you get whatever you got to do to get these divisions, these 30, 40, 50 teams that you want competing for this playoff. Maybe that all happens in 4 years. That to me might be the end game of where you got to figure out where you're going to be when the new playoff contract is up. Because I could be completely wrong. But the current incarnation of the ACC, it just feels like it's going to be hard pressed to get a seat at the table when you have two Goliaths. But we'll see anyway. But my point being, if that's to happen, Florida State needs to be in good. If you're worried about Florida State hasn't been good in 8 years. What do we need them for? We don't need. They're not as attractive as they used to be. You've got to be on firm footing in this sport by 2026, in my opinion. You need to be a top 15 or top 20 program by 2026. I don't know that the powers that be are going to be freaking out in 2023. But if it's 2024 or 2025 and you're still puddling around at 6-6 or 5-7, I can understand why people will be like, okay, well, we got to go find somebody that's going to get us attractive enough to get a seat at one of these tables. You know what I mean? So I don't know that to answer the question, yes, I do think that. I don't know.
You made it sound like you think it's going to be less likely.
What do you mean?
That they would have to move on from Norvell if the season goes south, because you feel like they.
Yes, correct. I think that would be if the season goes south, meaning what? More south or just?
Well, no, I think I don't know.
Like
in my
stay
opinion,
where we are.
Yeah, I think 5-7 is going south, man. I know that's technically that you're staying.
It's kind of just standing still, but yeah. Because there's got to be a timeline, right? There's got to be a timeline, and to me, if I'm Michael Alford, my timeline is 2026. I have to have Florida State back on the map. No, I mean not like you can be terrible for 5 more years. I'm saying we need to make darn sure that by 2026 we are nationally relevant again. Do I believe if this team goes 5-7 again in 2022? And I'm talking as Mike Alford now. Do I believe that this is the guy that in 3 years will have us in position to make a run at one of these conferences where they'll see us as a 10-win, top 10, all these huge ratings, bowl team? Or
probably not.
Yeah. Do I need to go ahead and go find somebody that can do that for me in the next 3 years?
Yeah,
that's the decision. I do think it will matter. But I don't know that you make the decision after this season. Maybe you make it after the 23 season. You still got 24 and 25. Yeah. Deion will still be out there. Travis Hunter will still be a junior. you can get him to come too.
That's a good point. I think it makes it more likely. I know what Corey's trying to say here. I think we all are following along with what he's saying. I just don't think that it's that far down the road, realignment, the next time the doors or the books are going to open. I think it's going to happen in the next 12 to 18 months. So, yeah, again, if you are Florida State, which, again, well,
then you can't do anything then. There's nothing to be done. If it's going to be in 12 months, what are you going to do?
Well, you can't keep the same coach. You have to go and get like a home run hire kind of a thing to show that, this program, this school is committed to football. It was a throwaway line in one of Ira's stories. But, being in Mississippi, again, whatever, in Mississippi, I'm not saying I was like on top of the world. Like, people talk to me afterwards. I mean, people really even in Mississippi, people were giving me so much props for Jimbo Fisher in Florida State. I remember a lot of the guys I know out there that are coaching high school and some of them are coaching college. Like when that all happened with him leaving, they're like, man, like you guys are going to let him walk. And I'm like, hey, so there's a lot more to it. I mean, there's, I think, in the coaching fraternity, you can say whatever you want about Jimbo Fisher, but I think when you look at it, if you're an opposing coach, we'd always talk about, well, if they let Willie Taggart go after 2 years, what coach is going to want to come at Florida State? If we're going to keep firing guys every 2 or 3 years, who's going to want to come at Florida State? It's like, well, man, what do you think they said about a program that let a guy walk that replaced a legend and won a national title within 4 years?
Again, I don't know that we phrase it as they let him walk. He walked.
Okay.
They didn't push him out the door.
They didn't. They could have maybe done stuff to keep him around at some point.
But they had done that. They had just done that the previous 2 years.
Okay. Well,
I get it. Well, that's semantics. I get what you're saying. I don't think they let him walk necessarily. But I understand what you're saying. And look, man, Florida State now the Florida State job now. Say Norvell goes 4-8 and they fire him. It is not nearly as appealing as it was when Jimbo left. So I don't know.
I think with Michael Alford, though, as your athletic director, it is, though. I think he can make up that gap. I think he can make up.
Who do you think? What big name would you? Who's the big name?
If Lane Kiffin wins 10 more games and Ole Miss playing in the SEC West, I go after Lane Kiffin.
He'd be the only one, right? That I would think that. And I mean like the only one from that you could say for sure. And I'm talking about if he wins 10 games again, and has a nice season, that has proven himself at that level. I just think again, man, look who Florida's hiring.
Yeah, I mean, we
don't hire
from
Power 5 to Power 5 much anymore. No. Alabama can do it. Georgia could do it if Kirby left. Could Clemson? I don't know. I don't know if anybody's leaving a Power 5 school to go replace Dabo. No. Maybe, but and I'm talking about like high-level Power 5, not right. Vanderbilt.
Yeah.
So I don't know that Florida State gets somebody like that either. You look. Hey, Mike, go win some games.
Yeah.
Go win some games. We don't have to have these conversations anymore, Norvell. Come on, what else do we got to give you? You got the best media coverage in the business. Go win some games.
Dane_Owen, what up, dudes? The difference in Jim Phillips' demeanor and Mike Norvell's demeanor is night and day. Should we take that as telling? Maybe someone should interview Mike Alford soon just to see not what his answers are, but how his answers are. I guess my question pertains to this. Would we not want the commissioner of this league that we want to leave look the way that Jim Phillips looked at ACC Media Day? Seems like how he looked scared a bunch of fans. But to me, I would have felt way worse about our future if he went up there and looked confident about the ACC's future. Thoughts? Thanks and go Noles.
Well, I guess, I mean, I understand what he's saying. I understand the point to an extent. I think I understand it. Because if he looked confident in what was going on, like came across with this air of confidence, then you'd be like, okay, well, you're being led by a madman. You're being led by a delusional madman. That's not good. Yeah. But at the same time, I don't know what it accomplishes to, just lament. Well, I won't even get to what he said. I just thought it was a crazy way he handled himself that for most of that hour-long press conference. But I don't know that it matters. Like whoever's leading the ACC, can you steer it out of the abyss?
No.
And I don't know if confident or not confident, articulate or not articulate. I don't know that it matters right now. I don't know that I'm reading the confidence tea leaves. No matter what I would have seen out of the commissioner, it wouldn't have changed my mind about how confident I am about this conference. I am not confident with it at all. and he could have pulled like a David Copperfield, man. It still wouldn't have mattered. I still would not be all that confident at all where this conference is going.
All right. Yeah, I don't have much to add to that. But good insight. I like the way you framed the question, Dane. I might have just been a guy that's defeated, just trying to speak for the silent majority or whatever of us that are kind of pained at what's happening to the sport. But again, we can't do anything about it. We cannot do anything about it. Noles 756. What number is Destin Hill wearing? J Bob
100. He's wearing 100.
J Bob says the new innovation, Invisa cloaking shield. The other team will never see him coming. So yeah, he's not here. Everybody, he's not here yet. Maybe. But yeah, he's not here.
Imagine what it's going to be like when he just walks through those practice gates one day out of nowhere.
All of us just tripping over each other to tweet, like we're all elbowing each other to film it. Yeah. Just absolutely.
He just rides in on his motorcycle, like a motorcycle right up to the practice gates, like Kelly Leak and Bad News Bears, and just puts on his helmet and goes out there. I guess he'd have to get acclimated for a couple of days. But number one, I wouldn't know what he looked like if he came up and sneezed on me. But I wouldn't believe it. It's an aberration. It's Kaiser Sose, man. I wouldn't believe that it was actually happening.
Speaking of acclimation, I didn't see anybody fall out on Thursday, but they were in the IPF and it was raining, so it was a little bit more mild. But yeah, they were in the IPF the whole time. But yeah, so it could have been. It was adrenaline probably. I think they're conditioned fine. It was really hot on Wednesday, so I don't blame them. It was a lot. All right, we got a few more. Let's get to it. Drill Sergeant Porter.
I was thinking about something real quick, Aslan.
Yes,
before we get to that. But you want your team to be tough. You want your team to be adjusted to the heat. So you practice at 4 o'clock on a late July day. But in all honesty, how important is that to have your body completely or as acclimated as possible to that heat? Because number one, I don't think you ever are completely. But also when you look at this schedule, yes, that first game is going to be a doozy. It's going to be really, really hot. But it's Duquesne. And you hope nobody on your team plays more than 40 snaps. So I feel like you can handle 40 snaps at 100 degrees in late August. Because if your starter's having to play 65 or 70 snaps, that Monday show is not going to be a fun one. And then the next game's in a dome. Then you have a week off, and then the next game is at Louisville, and by the time you return to play another game in Doak, it's late September, and it'll be 20 degrees cooler. So how important is it really to get used to a 110-degree heat index? Because you're not going to be able to use it when the season starts. Remember how they used it against Boise?
Oh, yeah.
And all those Boise kids just fell out?
Dragged to the deep end of the pool, yeah.
Yeah, they couldn't handle it. So I was just thinking about that. Like I know, especially in the South, you want to get your team really adjusted to the heat and fighting through it. But in reality, other than that first game, they should not have any sweltering hot days, I wouldn't think.
Yeah, I think at this point you're playing yourself, right? You want to be as peak conditions so you can practice properly, so you can be available and be focused.
Yeah.
Which, they will be.
But I guess my point was you don't really lose much if you go inside. If it gets too hot, go inside. Who cares? They'll be in good enough shape.
Yeah, no, good point. Drill Sergeant Porter, wake up. Florida is amazing. The state, not the university.
Correct.
A lot better making just over a 3-hour drive to watch Florida State than the 13-hour trek I used to have to make. I was at the opener. I was at the opener last year, and I will be at the opener this year. Quick thought. What if we treat this year as an SEC tryout? Our athletic director could even make a wager with the commissioner of the SEC where if we beat LSU in Florida, they will announce us being added to the conference immediately. And if not, we'll agree to wait a little longer to make the announcement. Thank you both. Go Noles.
Well, here's what I would do. If you could get a deal like that, I'm all about it. Number one, yes. If they say if you win these 2 games, you are in the SEC. You make that deal behind. You don't announce it, obviously, but you make that deal with Sankey, and then you go and get your 5 biggest boosters, and you tell them I need $5 to $7 million from each of you.
Oh wow!
And then you drive to Baton Rouge, and you tell I don't know how many. What do you give that to the whole starting 22? Do you give it to the 4 guys on each side of the ball, 6 guys? I don't know. I've never fixed the game. But you go ahead and fix the game and pay those LSU kids $1.5 million each to throw the game, and tell them if they throw the game, you give them $1 million up front, and you tell them if they throw the game, they get $2 more million, each of them. And then if you have to, we'll see what Florida is at the end of the year, right? You might not need to do this against Florida. They might be 2-10. But if they come in and they're a good team and you're in danger, you think there's a chance you could lose, you do the same thing with them. Simple, right? And you're saying, Corey, that's what are you're talking about spending $30 million twice, maybe. But think about, you make that up in half a season in the SEC. It's going to be paid for itself. So anyway, that's what I would do. I would make that deal in a heartbeat and then go pay off the LSU players. You might not need to. It's not like you're playing the Joe Burrow LSU team. Yeah. But still, I would go cover all bases.
I can't.
Are you with me on that, Aslan?
Perfect. Crushed it.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Okay,
nailed
good.
it. Island Chief. Love you, Drill Sergeant Porter. Welcome back, man. It's been a while. Island Chief, wake up! A lot of people have been putting exclamation marks, but he put italics, so I haven't done it. It's been a little bit. After a couple
I
of
feel
days,
like you should have done that with an accent.
After a couple of days in shorts, I doubt there's much to talk about that will necessarily be true in a month that is not known already. So let's conjecture some more. Last year, Miami ranked 23rd in scoring offense. Oregon, 42nd. Florida State, 80th. Total offense, about the same. Miami, 19th. Oregon, 50th. Florida State University, 74th, respectively. Seeing as how we all kind of traded players and coaches between the three of us, what is your prediction on how this shakes out at the end of the season? I regularly hit like and drink the Luna and have found my life to be better for it. Do the same. Thanks, Island Chief. Wow, all right. Man, really, Miami 23rd scoring offense. Yeah. That if you look at what they put up once Van Dyke was their quarterback, it's pretty impressive.
Yeah.
Man, we better at least be better than Oregon, right? That'd be a bummer if we were still behind Oregon. We took away one of their best, receivers, and they took our
and one of their running backs, although he wasn't doing much for them. They got Dillingham as the OC though.
That bamboo.
Yeah, that's a good question. I don't know if a year is enough to properly evaluate the offense's trending, but no matter what happens in the comparison between these three schools, if Florida State is 80th again in scoring offense, I've got to go stab something. I don't know what. It's probably going to be an inanimate object. I'm not saying I'm going to find a living thing and stab it, but I am stabbing something hard. I can't do it anymore, Aslan.
I know.
I can't.
I know.
80th?
It's okay. It's okay. It won't be there.
And it's not like they were any better the year before, or really the year before that. I mean, I guess with Bryles, they were good for a year. They were pretty good.
But it didn't feel – I mean, statistically they were okay, but they did not play okay, it feels like.
I mean, I am just sick of having a mediocre to bad offense to watch every Saturday. There's too much scoring all over the country to be saddled with what we've watched, and it needs to change.
I'll still hold on to my Mario Cristobal stock long term. I am a little bit – I've convinced myself here that they might take a step back offensively. Like Tyler Van Dyke is not going to put up the numbers that he did. I don't know if he's going to want to play that style of offense. I don't think Josh Gaddis is going to do that. I'm sure they'll try to incorporate some principles that he was successful with, but I really do think Mario's going to be like, man, we're going to run the ball, we're going to be physical, we're going to bully people around. And I think at some point he'll might be able to build that roster up to where they can do that effectively and win football games. I don't think it's this year though. So I don't know if they're going to drop 30 spots and we're going to jump 30 spots. But I'm not as high on them this coming season as I was a few days ago.
See.
So suck that, take that, Miami fans listening to us.
There you go.
Man, that'd be crazy. I'll say Florida State ends up 67th. Miami will be 58th, and Oregon will be 74th.
Yeah.
So,
all right.
Not a lot of great offenses, but hey, we're gonna have a really good defense. So if we're a top
really
60
good,
offense,
really might be pushing it, but they should have a pretty good defense.
What is Florida State's record if they're 65th in offense and 31st in defense?
7 wins, maybe 8 if
Really?
they get lucky. Yeah, I think so.
Okay. All right. Gator 188. It's Gator Kirk. Wake up. What offensive and defensive player have you been most impressed with from practice? Stay out of the orange jersey. Go Noles.
Ask us that again next week, man. And I'm not just punting on it. Just ask us next week. We'll have more. Number one, they'll be in pads some next week.
Well, number one, Corey's only seen one practice, and I've only seen two.
But both of them were in shorts.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Gator Kirk, we love you. We answer all your questions. But save that one. Put that back in the quiver. I think that's what you do with arrows, right?
Yes.
And
maybe.
And then shoot
it
again
quiver,
next week.
Isn't the quiver the thing on the end of the arrow, the little feather? It's not the case.
I thought that was the shuttlecock.
I'll have to Google this.
I thought the quiver was what you put the arrows in.
All right, I'll maybe Google it.
I'm probably wrong. Why would I know? I haven't turkey hunted in months, so I have no idea what I'm talking about.
Okay. All right. Yeah, sorry, you're right. A quiver is a case for carrying or holding arrows.
Yeah, everybody knows that, Aslan. I mean, I grew up as a bow hunter. You know that.
Dude, Travis J physically is such an aesthetically impressive young man. I wish it would all come together for him. I like the way Quayshawn Sapp looks. Like, I think Quayshawn Sapp, you all might roll your eyes at this. Quayshawn Sapp, maybe it's because he's wearing 55. He looks like Dante Lucas. Like, he's just stocky, the way you want your offensive, your guards to be built. So that's really nice. I mean, again, Julian Armello we've talked about. DJ Lundy, yeah, I mean, Norvell wasn't lying. I saw him out there on practice Thursday. He just I saw him in a very short burst. There wasn't anything 11 on 11 that stood out. But when he was doing individual drills, I'm just like, yeah, man, he looks impressive. Like we look like a team that kind of looks good coming off the bus. Kalen DeLoach. I've been late to the party on Kalen DeLoach. Kalen DeLoach to me physically looks like I don't want to get caught on an aggregate here, but like a Georgia Alabama linebacker, man, just rangy, man, just cut, like just built well. Long levers.
Okay.
Like
speaking my language.
Yeah, man. Just there's some guys out there that like physically, again, man, they're in shorts, so I'm not going to go too crazy. I like the way Jarian Jones has been playing. I've been impressed. Again, I'm a little bit biased, but I really am kind of encouraged by the way he's been out there, just in terms of his confidence, and he's playing angry, but controlled anger, so it's good. Offensively, maybe who's impressed me the most. Yeah, that's tough to say right now because again, maybe Pokey. I'll say Pokey. Pokey had that really nice catch on the RPO on Thursday. Okay. He's caught pretty much everything that's been thrown his way in 1-on-1, 7-on-7s, 11-on-11s, and yeah, man. If I still think Micah Pittman's our number one receiver, I just a lot of that is because we have seen what we've seen from Pokey, but maybe he's turned a corner. Maybe he will be the leading wide receiver. But he's been a very consistent go-to guy for Jordan on a lot of shorter and intermediate stuff. Again, we'll see maybe when this offense develops a little bit more and the install starts including things beyond 15 yards from the line of scrimmage, and we'll see what shakes out. But right now, if I had to say Jarian Jones and Pokey to go along with this exercise. Last question. We made it, Corey. Here we go.
Okay, we did it. All right, let's do it.
Pistol Mike. Let me see how long has Pistol Mike been around. It's crazy, man. These guys have all these like banners next to their name. Says like gold member, like J-Bob from earlier. He's been around since 2001, and he's got a gold member banner under his name. And Pistol Mike, love you. He's been around since 2020. He's got the same banner.
Okay,
let's figure that out, Ravels. 19th post from Pistol Mike. Rise and shine, gentlemen. Nothing big this week. Just a quick question. Why is Ryan Leaf hanging out at practice? Great college quarterback. Just curious about what the story is here. Happy birthday to Mama Clark, and I hope you guys can keep cool in the Tallahassee summer swelter. Take care and go Noles. Thank you, Pistol Mike.
Yeah, thank you, Mike. I appreciate that, buddy. And no, we're not going to keep cool because it's impossible. Maybe if we keep going to the IPF, if they keep practicing the IPF, we have a shot. Was Ryan Leaf at practice?
He was a guest speaker. I'm guessing sharing his message, man. He's seen the highest of highs. He's seen the lowest of lows. I think he was on the comeback, and I think he relapsed, but now I think he's back on the straight and narrow. I think he almost he was working on ESPN and things were looking up, but I think he relapsed, but he's kind of refound his stride here of late. So I'm sure it's hey, let's look at me, man. I was hot blank. Everybody wanted a piece of me. I got drafted behind Peyton Manning, and was out of the league within, I don't know, like 3 years or whatever. So I'm sure he shared his message about resiliency. I'm sure there's a theme to these guest speakers they have. So I'm sure his story is going to probably resonate for many. That's what I would think.
Yeah, I don't think he's telling them how to play quarterback.
Not a consultant.
Or giving giving advice on how to. He's probably not the media trainer. But
Get out my face, all right? So I don't want to talk anymore.
But yeah, man, he's got guys like that have an interesting story to tell. And the thing is, we know Ryan Leaf. Mm-hmm. We all, that happened when I was, it was my early 20s when Ryan Leaf was a thing. But these guys don't know who Ryan Leaf is unless they're, sports trivia nerds. So I think it's an interesting story and one they don't know about. You say, look, man, you could show them quotes where all these people are dissecting who should we draft, Peyton Manning or Ryan Leaf. And you look back now and like, what? That was a conversation people had, but yeah. And, I don't know that, A.J. Duffy would believe it. Like, wait, what? Who are you? Where'd you go to college? Like, you don't know about Washington State or anything like that. So I think that's an interesting story for players to talk about. Like, you've never really, even when you think you've made it, you haven't made it. Not that, I'm not trying to be mean here, but not that anybody on Florida State's campus right now is anywhere close to what Ryan Leaf was in college, or has proven to be anyway. But yeah, it's always a good. So it's got to be a good message and a good example of maybe what to do right and then what not to do to stay on the right side of doing things. There you go. What a perfect way to sum it up. Hey guys, we made it. We're here. We made it to the end of the show, and we made it to the end of the week. And I can't wait to get to talk about practice that I actually saw again.
Yeah, and actually, I guess he was out at practice yesterday. On Wednesday. So, yeah, look at that. Man, I don't think he wasn't coaching. I think it was probably just part of his visit.
I did see the one time where he told Jordan to get further back in his drop.
Are you being sarcastic?
Yes, sorry.
I believe
yeah,
it.
He wasn't doing any coaching at all.
Yeah, if you look at his Twitter, it says Dad, keynote speaker, ESPN college football analyst. He's got a pinned tweet from April 1st. 10 years ago today, I woke up on the floor of a prison cell with no idea what could be or what kind of dream team we would make. It's him and a young lady. You can't go back and change the beginning, but you can start where you are and change the ending. There is hope. # sober life. # 10 years sober. # partners in crime.
Good job, Ryan Leaf.
I mean, you never good too for being.
If he's being honest, which I assume he is, sometimes it's just hard to trust. But if he really is 10 years sober and was passed out on a prison floor and now he's a keynote speaker and living a good life, man, that's awesome. That's great news. And again, what a great example. Highest highs and low lows, man.
Yeah, looks like he could go out there and still spin it, man. That's crazy, especially for everything he dealt with, man. If you see his mugshot from 10 years ago, woof, man.
Yeah, it was rough.
Yeah, good for him, though, man. Yeah, so they're going to be building resiliency in a few weeks in Jacksonville, too. We'll see how that goes.
That's right, buddy. That's right.
All right, so that's a wrap for us. But Jeff Cameron's show is coming up 1 to 3 o'clock, and they will be practicing later on Friday. And we've been turning the practice footage quite quickly. So if you don't want to wait until after practice to get updates, you can at least see what happened in the first few periods up on our YouTube channel, Warchant TV. Subscribe to it, hit the thumbs up. Subscribe to our podcast too, like on the conventional tip, y'all. I mean, I know the YouTube thing's cool, but we're a podcast,
do both.
Get on your phone.
You need to do both, honestly, because they both help us out. But I was about to say, Aslan, we need a drum roll because I just looked and we're at 29,996 subscribers.
Ooh.
So if you're one of the people listening to this early in the morning, one of you weirdos,
and you made it this far,
and you made it this far, and you've listened to us a lot, and you made it this far, and you're not subscribed to the YouTube channel, do it. Maybe you'll be the 30,000th subscriber, which. What are we going to give him, Aslan? We'll say thanks.
Yeah.
We'll say thanks,
and
it'll be. We won't
take a screenshot of it saying 29,999, and then hit subscribe, and then show it 30,000. Tweet at us, email us, and then we'll drop your name on the show.
I don't know. Then that's going to get a lot of people unsubscribing and then subscribing.
Oh, that's right. Yeah. See, good call, Corey.
Don't do that, guys.
Yeah,
it's the honor system around here, right? It's the honor system. So, yeah. But, hey, all of you that are subscribed, we really do appreciate it. It's been awesome. 30,000 is nuts. I think we've even in the last year, we've grown like 8,000 maybe in just a year. It's just really exciting. We do a lot of stuff. We work hard on this channel, or try to try to put up really good content. So we appreciate you guys subscribing. Now tell all your friends to subscribe.
That is right. And there's plenty of recruiting going on. Seminole Showcase Weekend, barbecue, cookout. Austin Cox, Michael Langston, of course, obviously as well. We'll have you covered all weekend long. So stay tuned. There might be a commit or two, commit watch, however that works. So we're going to have it all. Football team practicing, again, we'll have a full wrap-up from that, video, interviews, some observation. Maybe I can twist Ira's wrist so we can do some observations, but then Corey will be back Sunday. And then we'll have a show for you guys on Monday. But again, don't forget, Jeff Cameron Show, 1 to 3 o'clock, coming up. For Corey, I'm Aslan. Thank you for watching and listening. You maybe just watch a still image on your screen the whole time. That's kind of weird. We're done. Have a great one, everybody. We love you.